The kingdom of Lasauja was covered on all sides by impressive scenery. To the north were the lavender fields, a vast grassland covered with lush vegetation and snake lavender, a famous plant from the region. These grasslands lay at the foot of a wide mountain range known as the Dragon's Back that spanned all of the land in the distance and ended in a jetty that nestled itself in the Yemen coast and ocean. This ocean, colored in emerald and blue, met Lasauja at the sheer cliffs next to their ocean temple, the flooded faith. Finally, to the east, an extension of the Dragon's Back, covered in lush forests with lush green trees, and the massive old tree. It was in the midst of the clouds in the Dragon's Back that a storm began to brew. Lightning pulsed through the clouds and tore through rock like it was butter. The electricity turned from its normal colors and was made a hot blue that shook the sky and the earth. The quakes could be felt all over the plains and even into Lasauja proper. It was the signal that the time for action had come, and the kingdom took to arms with a different hymn. The notes of this particular song were higher in pitch, violent, and seemed to be pointed towards Jeremie. He noticed the rising action of the song, the tremors of the ground and the tone in the singers' voices. Their almost accusatory pace and tone hit his ears and caused the mighty Aeon in front of the young man to let loose a powerful shockwave and sent the clouds at their feet into a column-like spiral. He pointed forward, turning his palm upward and calling something to him. "Come out of hiding. It's time for us to fight, you serpent." At this, the man from earlier, with the dark hair and beautiful features, seemed to pull himself from the air behind Jeremie. He touched the young man's shoulders again and smiled at the angel. "I'll give you another chance to earn your valor," he hissed confidently. The angel glared at him with contempt, and his voice erupted into the hall like the storm outside. "Set your own cowardice aside and come to fight," retorted the angel. "But someone must watch over the child, the newborn chick, so that one day he may fly." They exchanged final gazes and knew that the time for talking was growing thin. The angel spread his wings and sent his golden spear through the roof of the temple before following it, so that he might perch himself along the bell tower. It rang out, together with the hymns, the storms, and the new cries from the heavens. White sparks rose from the temple and shot into the sky as a parade of angels marched in freefall from the clouds. A chorus fell from the sky along with them, from a choir of angels. Their song was deep and shook the land in contest with the quakes. They all seemed to point at the warriors that shook the mists of the clouds from their wings. Each of them waiting until they met a particular altitude to unfurl their wings and burst off into the direction of the storms. The angel at the top of the bell tower, with the darkest skin, like wind, let loose a fire from his eyes that burnt like white phosphorus and broke sound in its flight into battle. From the choir hall now came a new song, a tormented nocturne, sung by a rising set of ashen beings. Each of their mouths twisted in horrible ways, and the sound of their songs haunted Jeremie's ears. The man behind him laughed and raised his hands in glee. "Don't be afraid, my little chick. You are the author of this part of the story." This group surrounded Jeremie and carried him onto the battlefield. by a sway of procession through the streets. Jeremie was out of his element. He never meant to be the object of anyone's focus. Now people lined the streets to watch him as he was carried by the horde of tortured bodies. Now there were sparks of many colors, red, brown, and green, lining the streets, and from those sparks came more bodies. These looked to be warriors. They wore dark, scale-like armor and hurriedly crowded around another man, the head of the procession. He wore a large, tattered cape of crimson, sullied in mud and grass. They were all going to the same place, the battle which would take place in the lavender field.